Welcome to season 2
of the Coco Lesa podcast.
It's real hip hop music from the soul, y'all.
From the soul. It always start with loving, don't it? That we always end up fighting, but we could fall off long as we get back to riding, homie. You the only one I see.
What's going on, family?
Happy New Year, family.
Happy New Year. Welcome back.
Welcome into 2019.
2019, new year, new beginnings, new phone. Who this? You know what I mean? All right, we're starting out fresh, for sure. Before we jump into it, just definitely want to take the time to congratulate my boy Thomas. I love you very much. Congratulations on your wedding. Super happy for you. Very sorry we could not be there.
But thank you for inviting us, though.
Thank you for sure. We really did want to be there. So yeah, I just wanted to send that love out very quickly. Also want to make a quick announcement. We will be up on Spotify within the next 2 to 3 weeks. So it'll be another way to access us for people who haven't had a chance to get to us because they only listen on Spotify. We out here. Spotify soon.
Yeah, so today's episode we're going to cover just
a lot of
goals for the year, what your plans are.
And it's because, well, everybody knows it. I've seen a bunch of memes that are hilarious, like the gym is going to look like this next week, and it's like a parade, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
New Year's resolutions, new goals, how people are starting fresh, and even things like closure, because closure is a part of getting a new beginning. So where are you at? Where's your energy? Where's your mindset in terms of how you handle and approach the new year? How do you normally come at it?
Honestly, this year is a lot different to previous years. This year we're in a new country. Mm-hmm. Previous years, I would literally start on New Year's, do my diet and my weight loss goals and stuff, and then by February that shit would die out. But this year, honestly, I didn't really give myself those kind of expectations because as previous years have panned out, they don't really work. So I think instead of set goals by this time I want to be this weight, or by this time I want to have this, I'm just gonna leave it open-ended and try more for a lifestyle change, I guess.
True.
And quick stuff.
So I'm going to say two things, right? And this is just in terms of me. And one of them is super insulting, so I'm going to apologize in advance, right? But something I love about Gary Vee is he's always telling people, you're not going to do it. You're not. And he doesn't tell it to discourage. He does it to encourage because he wants people to prove him wrong.
Yeah.
He sincerely wants them to do better and go farther, right? And the way I think of all of this New Year's stuff that people do every year, here's the insulting part, right? There's a quote from a movie in a book, and there's this kid and he's a prince, and the guy who trains him to fight is a war veteran, and they come to a point where the kid he's slacking, and the dude fucks him up and he says, oh, I'm not in the mood, and it makes the dude super angry, almost to the point of almost trying to kill him. And he doesn't, because he wouldn't actually do that. But he's teaching the kid to fight and protect and defend his life. And he tells him mood is a thing for cattle and women. You don't fight because you're in the mood to fight. You fight because you have to. Because you have no choice. Because this is your life. And that's how I feel about the new year, new goals. We didn't wait till January to try and get pregnant and make a new baby. We didn't wait till January to change countries.
And to try and get our money right.
You know what I mean? No, you do what you need to do when you need to do it, because, you know what I mean? And so, and that's the energy that I have for every aspect of life, right? There's two ways that I approach a situation. I'm very much my grandmother's son, and what I mean is that negatives are a big part of life for me. But where other people dwell on negatives and hold on to them and it stops them, negatives are motivating as fuck to me, right? So if I want something and I need something and it has to be done, my time frame is right the fuck now. You can ask my students. I teach them we had to change it up because we got older people in our class and they were offended by the language. But you ask any of my students what our time frame is and they can all let you know right the fuck now. Okay? And anything I can't do right the fuck now, I never forget. I never let go of. I'm always, because the negative is my fucking motivator. Every time you ask me, what did I do today? Every time somebody has some dumb shit to say, it all reminds me of what I'm working towards. And so I don't have to wait for new energy or new, like, my mental state is always, fuck that, I want it right now. I'm trying to do better right now. I'm trying to do everything I need to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the new year is a good
No, and I'm not
starting
knocking
point for many to like, I'm just gonna let go of,
right.
you know, all the stuff that happened in the previous year. And
I appreciate that, and I just want to clarify and say I'm not knocking anybody that does need that or makes real change and growth with that energy. Kudos to you. I'm so, new beginnings are dope, you know? But I'm not a gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today type of dude. Yo, Drake, again, one of my favorite Drake quotes actually, it's him and Meek Mill, and it's on the song Amen, and Drake says, I'm the type to say a prayer and then go get what I just prayed for. That shit has always spoke to me, because that's me. I'm not waiting for anybody to give me shit. I'm not waiting for no assist. Like, anything that I'm working towards, all right, let's go do this. You know what I mean? And so, yo, it's kind of something another saying I've heard is like having a baby. There is no right time
to have a kid. And we know this because we have two.
No, facts, but not even just that. Like, there are people, like a lot of palangi, they wait until they get like 30, 40 because they're stable, this and that. But I'm telling you, it was a palangi in one of their books that told me there is no such thing as a right time to have a kid.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And there's a lot of things in life that there's true for. There's no such thing as a right time or the perfect time. And if you're waiting for that shit,
yeah.
Have you ever seen the movie Pursuit of Happiness? Go ahead.
Pursuit of Happiness with
Will Smith, Will and Jaden. Yeah. Jaden tells a joke to his dad in the movie about the dude who's waiting for signs, and he sends him a boat and all of this other shit to save his life, and the dude dies, and he gets to heaven, and he was like, I was waiting for a sign, and God's like, I sent you the boat, you dummy. Like, it's not always a burning bush. You know what I mean? Like,
that is so accurate, though. Like, the sign that you need is you. Like, just...
And like, luck is a factor in things, but I also believe we make our own luck. We make our own time. We make our own, you know what I mean? We make our own opportunities. Something you can attest to, right? So we were the most stable we've been in all our years of marriage. We built up everything. We had our home. You know what I mean? They didn't want us to go anywhere. We had our own car. The girls had a routine. We got daycare.
Our bills was getting paid.
Right? Bills always paid. No debt. I want to ask you a real question. Be honest. Sincerely. Were you happy?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I was happy that for stability.
But there were a lot of other things
for me in stability.
But there were a lot of other things that were lacking mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. Correct?
Correct.
Okay, and it's not like we planned for months and weeks and years. Like I was saying this like last night. My greatest blessing in life at this point. Well, my greatest blessing has always been the women in my life, whether it be my sisters. At this point, like, you know, my wife is a very big part of that equation because I'm so lucky to have someone who gets it. It is so tiring. I don't even explaining. I don't even want to talk to people about shit that they don't get. If all you know is 9 to 5, you don't understand anything else. And you can't give positive energy to anything else because all you believe in is what you know. So actually trying to share shit with people that they don't know is not necessarily enlightening them. It's draining you. So to have a partner that gets it is a big deal. Like, I never have to sit you down and coach you and be like, all right, listen, this is gonna be this. And as soon as I let you in the door, and it was a growth process. But once you understood what we were really building, you were such a rider. You're like, all right, let's do it. All right, like, you know what I mean? You don't give me, like, sometimes you'll have concerns, But the fortunate thing about us and about me and about you is that situations that normally would bother you or give you concern, you've seen me flourish in those situations too many times to doubt. So you don't do it. It's like, what's the point? Because one of the first times was even before Angie. It was me. It was you. It was Mahua Kia. She was just here. Income was like very important. We just got the new job. It was great money, and it was super toxic, and I was super unhappy. And I left.
Yeah.
And you were pressed. Like, what are we gonna do? Like, we have bills. We need to eat. Like, you were really. And I said, I got this. And I took a week to get my head and my heart and my emotions right. And then the week after that, I had like 3-4 interviews a day.
Yeah.
And we were back to work within a 2-week period. Waiting for the time to be right to leave that position that was making me physically ill would have cost and taken so much more out of us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, all right, people wait for justification. I'm going to let him cheat one more time. I'm going to let this person steal from me one more time. I'm going to let this person, well, my mom is okay. She'll do that one more time. Or my dad. And you wait so many times for this situation to give you a sign and build up justification. How many years of your life are gone?
Exactly. And I think that jumps into the conversation we were having earlier about closure. Like,
we had a debate. Go ahead. Tell them about the debate on closure.
Was it really a debate?
It was. It was definitely a debate.
I didn't see it as a debate. But anyway, so
my argument was that.
So he made a certain statement. And the statement was, nobody owes you closure. And I disagreed. I'm like, some people owe you closure. Like, sincerely. And he was like, no, nobody owes you closure.
And then I corrected and I amended, right? And the thing that I said is there are some people that do owe you closure. But the people that actually owe you closure are the people that care about giving it to you the least. And so if you're waiting on the people who actually owe you closure to give you closure, you're in a losing game. And the only loser is you.
Yeah, I know. I understand that. I understand that there are certain people in your life, well, maybe not in your life anymore, but they owe you closure. It doesn't mean you're going to get the closure. It doesn't mean you should sit around waiting for that closure.
And that was the point that I was making when I said nobody owes you closure. It's not about what other people owe you. It's about you. All of these conversations is about you as an individual. And if you're waiting for someone to give you something you feel they owe you, you've already lost.
And I feel like that's the energy we should be bringing into 2019. It's like, we're not waiting for anything. Like, we're not waiting for closure. We're not waiting for the right, like, the supposed right time, the signs, that's
always my energy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's, I'm again thankful for you because that's a family energy, and it's still a learned process.
Yeah.
And it's something that you gotta, but that's true of all of us when it comes to new things. What I'm thankful for is your willingness and your open mind to grow into that. And part of why I live with that mindset is because I'll be real, right? For all the intelligent and open conversations that we have, I'm a brute. I'm a bit of a savage, right?
Your might makes right.
I might makes right. I only care about strength. You know what I mean? And I'm even when I understand balance is more important, only strength matters. Weakness is a sin to me, right? And so that mentality, that victim mentality of this was done to me. Someone said that to me when we were young, and I spazzed out. Because, there were a lot of things that were intentionally done to us and has damaged us as a generation and as a people, right? But at some point, you have to stand up and fight back and change things and say, I'm going to be different. And if you're always harping on, well, this was done to me and waiting for the people that have wronged you to fix what they've done to you, what's the point of you even being here? Because you're never going to get to making the changes.
Yeah.
Changes don't come from people who say, woe is me. Changes come from people who get up and clap back.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand, but I feel like everyone has gone through that kind of stage where it's like, it's hard to move past that kind of mentality. We're like, oh, this was done to me, because at times it's
valid. I'm not saying it's not valid. I'm not taking away from the validity of that statement. It's a very 100% valid statement that someone has harmed you or done you wrong, right? I'm gonna ask you a question. I'd like a real honest answer from you, right? And not even a yes or no. You can expound on it. Is power ever passed from the hands of the powerful into the hands of the powerless freely?
No, never in any stage of history.
Not in colonization, not in civil rights, not in oppression, right?
Exactly.
So if that doesn't happen in any aspect of life, what makes any individual so special that it's going to happen for them just because it's valid that someone's done something to them?
Yeah, no, but we can have our little moments where we, like, feel a little down, like, oh shit, like, it just feels like nothing is going right in our lives, and...
You know what?
You're entitled to those moments.
You are. You're completely entitled to those. And here's why I don't take away from that, and I don't invalidate that, because everyone processes differently. Everyone experiences differently, right?
Yeah.
But for me, I'm very much House of Cards about it, which does not mean I'm out here touching little boy pussies, right? No Frank Underwoods. Kevin Spacey. Sorry, anyway, never mind. What I mean when I say is what I mean when I say I'm very House of Cards about it. One of the first scenes in the very first episode, he talks about the two different types of pain and how one pain is useless because nothing comes from it. I'm not gonna dwell in sadness. I'm not gonna dwell in negativity. Right? False. Here's what I say. I'm not going to wallow in those things. There's a difference between wallow and dwell, right? Wallow is laying in it and letting it consume you. Dwelling is holding on to it. I hold on to it. I hold on to it in my heart, right? I held on to it so strong, I left America for 7 years and never looked back. Came back to get this money, right? Didn't even think about visiting, right? I held on to it so long, things weren't what we needed to be in Auckland. Where are we at?
Yeah.
So I dwell on things all the time, but I use them as motivation and energy, and I make something of them. I give it up to. I have no tolerance for wallowing in sadness and not doing anything. All right? If dwelling is going to help me get out of bed and get this money so I never have to see you again, I'm about it. But if wallowing is going to keep me in bed all day and I can't eat and feed myself and pick up the phone and what's the point?
So what do you think, how do you make goals and how do you execute them?
So...
And when things aren't going right, like, do you change the plan or do you change the end?
Listen, again, these are all things that I wrote about in the book. So I'll answer in the order last to first, right? First, if the plan isn't working, change the plan, not the goal. Because if what you want is really what you want, and you're just getting there wrong, that doesn't mean what you want is wrong. It means you're going about it the wrong way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'll make an amendment, but that takes... You constantly got to be aware of, is this still right for me? You know what I mean? Because I used to be like, I want 9 kids, da-da-da. And I said that for so long because it was what I wanted when I was younger that I had stopped thinking about it. And I got to a point, I was like, yo, this is not true anymore. So you need to...
And now you're like, no more kids.
So you need to make assessments and be aware of your goals and see if it's still right for you.
You need to always be self-assessed.
Always. So what was the other one? That was the last one.
I said, how do you make...
Oh, so for me, right? I don't have dreams. I don't have hopes. I have goals, right? I pick something tangible and realistic that I want to work towards, even in terms of being governor. Like, I pick, and then I say, how do I get there? A wonderful saying, again, that I put in my book and that I tell people all the time, start at the edges. If you've got 5 problems and you try and start with the biggest problem first, it makes all of your problems feel overwhelming.
Yeah.
But if you got 5 problems, and 4 of them are small and 1 of them are big, and you knock out those 4 first, you have so much more energy and clarity of mind and
You're
heart.
feeling good because you just knocked him out.
Exactly, you're getting stuff done. The big one isn't even that big a deal anymore. Is it going to take effort? Yeah, but I don't have all of these other little things chipping away at me. You know? And so, I set a realistic goal. I knock out the things in the right order. Okay? And when I say the right order, you can't say I want to start a business, do no research, take out a loan from a bank, and have nothing else planned. You know what I mean? That type of thing. Everything that we needed to do, even though coming here was a last minute decision, that went right into action. Took days off of work to go down, get the visas sorted, found out what we needed to do for the ESTAs, like all of these things.
It actually wasn't last minute though.
It wasn't.
We have been planning this for like 2 years. Not planning, but we had always known that we were gonna go.
It was an eventual thing. It was gonna happen. And then when the situation said the time is right, we made it happen. And that's a part of it too. You gotta understand your situation. If now is the go time. Now is the go time. When I left America, I didn't have kids. I wasn't married. You know what I mean? It was the perfect time to leave and travel. And the thing that held me for so long, I legit waited for my sisters to be in stable, happy, healthy relationships. Because my sisters were my responsibility. And so once they had partners that they felt like these are life partners, and there was additional support and caretaking, then I was like, all right, save my life through me. You know what I mean? But it's the same thing with all of these situations. Just understand your situation and then stay committed. Like for me, know your limitations is something I say all the time too. I don't have a problem being in the gym, but I understand the thing that keeps me committed to the gym is having a partner. I need a workout buddy because I handle responsibility very seriously. So something Will and Jada said on there on Red Table Talks was, Will is the type of man who he only excels for his, not only excels, but he excels more for his woman, his family. It drives him to greater heights, right? For me, it's not just my family, it's my people. It's my family, it's my people, it's my children. Those responsibilities I take very serious. This is why I hate lateness, right? Tardiness. I can't stand it. It's disgusting to me. Because if you told someone you were going to be somewhere at a certain time, and then you don't show that at that time, it's such a extreme level of disrespect and consideration for another person and the value of their time. And it tells you what you think of them and the respect you have for them, that you couldn't even value their... So I carry that same energy with taking care of people. So if I say, let's be gym buddies, right? And I commit to showing up and being there, and then I don't show up, and then you can't go anymore, and we've paid for this service, what kind of person does that make me? What does that say about me? You know what I mean? And so if that's what I need to stay in the gym, then I get a gym buddy. It's not about the new year for me. It's about having the right energy around me. And it's the same thing with projects. If I want to work on a project, new projects, that's something I will say. That's something that really makes me identify and understand with people that wait for the new year. Energy is everything. And so if you need the new year because you need the right energy to do something, then I get that. Because I don't like, again, that's why people are such a big motivator for me. Not because I care about what they think, because I want to get the fuck away from them. Like, there's nothing worse for me than toxic people, toxic energy, toxic mindsets, small-minded people. If I'm working on something that's super important to me and I need the right energy, and you're telling me constantly how it's not going to work because you don't understand it, I don't want you around me.
Yeah.
Energy is everything. And so from that aspect, I totally get why people need a new year.
Yeah.
Well, no, go ahead. Tell me what you're thinking. Share it. We're on a podcast. You can't keep it in your head and not share it.
No, like, you're right. You're right. Like, energy is everything, but if you in fucking March and already the year is off to a shit start and you're not gonna wait for the new year. You need to do something stat. Like,
and that's the point that I was making. Exactly. Like, there is no right time, there is no right circumstance unless you're making it.
honestly, something that I could do, like if I decide that I'm gonna go for a run or something, I wait till the start of a new week. I don't know why, but it just feels like it's fresh. It's a fresh start. Like, I don't know why though. I feel like that's the thing with the new year. It just feels.
And see, and that's why I'm saying. That's why I get that. And for me personally, I never speak on those things because I understand that my views
aren't everyone's,
and they are hindrance to people.
Yeah.
If it's something we said in the beginning is for you culturally, people who are big and loud are all talk, but for us, people who are quiet are weak. And you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And so it was the differences. But for me, it's the same thing. Like, I'm not waiting for anything. And I think if you're waiting for I didn't do this because it wasn't the right time, I feel like that's an excuse for me 9 times out of 10. So go ahead. So speaking of New Year's and new beginnings
and new things, like, I was able to do something for the first time with my sister. So we went to New York, right? So we went to the New Year's Eve ball drop, and when we got there, we were there like hours, like 6 hours early, right? And it was raining. It just was pouring down rain. You weren't allowed umbrellas in Times Square, so you had to wear ponchos. But because we were being tight asses and cheap, we didn't want to buy ponchos because they were $5 each. Who sells ponchos for $5 each? Anyway, so we were getting soaked just standing there. We could only see half of the ball, right? We could only see half of the ball. And I don't know, we got into this little altercation waiting in line to get into Times Square with this, I'll say he's Indian. I don't know. He's like Indian and he had a white partner. Anyway, he kept pushing in line. Like, we were standing there for hours in the rain. So when someone was pushing in line, I was just, no. The people in front of us were all talking about it. They're like, oh, he keeps pushing in. But they wouldn't say anything to him, right? And the one thing that Teddy hates most is passive aggressiveness.
Facts! I'm aggressive all day.
Yes, he's aggressive all day. But he wasn't there with us. And the thing,
I don't do tourist attractions.
Yeah, he doesn't do tourist attractions apparently. But the thing is, with this accent in New York, I'm not really intimidating. Like, I'm a big girl, but just my slang and my accent just weren't hitting it. So I went up to the guy. I went up to the guy and was like, hello, excuse me, yeah, you're pushing in. And he's like, what are you talking about? I don't think he understood me at first because of my accent. And I was like, yeah, you're pushing in. And he's like, okay. He's like, okay. So what are you going to do about it? But the thing is, prior to our little altercation, there was an altercation between two black guys, right? And their one was a lot cooler in a sense. Like what the black guy waiting in line was like, yo, what's up? Like, it was a lot, the slang was just a lot better, a lot cooler between the black guys than it was between me and the Indian. Anyway, nothing happened because, well, 1, I have kids and I don't want to get arrested. And 2, something about visas that I won't really, put out there. Anyway, so yeah, we stood there for like 8 hours in the rain and we got to see half of the ball drop. Like, you literally could only see half of the ball because the buildings and other people, it was so packed. You couldn't leave after you got in. And there was just so many police officers. So I recommend for people who want to try the New Year's Eve ball drop, who want to watch it, just don't go. Well, you can go.
Anyway, touching into that, right? what I did for New Year's was stayed home with my girls and just relaxed in the house. Here's the thing. In Auckland, we never ever went to see the fireworks because, like, not really something we cared about. Lame.
Yeah.
For here, the only reason she went is because our sister wanted to go.
Yeah.
And we couldn't send her by herself, and that's just the reality of the situation. But for them, I understand the touristy aspect. If you've never been before, you're in New York City, and you're doing something new, why wouldn't you want to see this? And so we're not going to tell anyone don't deny yourself the tourist experience.
But go prepared.
Go prepared and just understanding. I knew what it was, which is why I wasn't going. Because she was like, no, you can go, it's okay. And I was like, nah, I'm okay.
No, I wasn't expecting there to be so many police. Like, every street corner, every street, they blocked it off. And there was just police with police dogs. They had their firearms out. There were police, they were bag checking.
And I already knew it was going to be all of those things, but I didn't tell you because I didn't want to be like Debbie Downer, like, oh no, it's going to be this and this, you're going to have to deal with this. I didn't know you guys were going to get rained on. That was kind of funny.
And the police, like, I don't know, it felt like they didn't know what they were. I mean, they knew what they're doing, but they just weren't communicating with each other. So that's one thing to look out for. The second one, maybe we should have a whole other episode on, like,
you
tourism.
can. I don't know how many people are coming to New York for this, but I know you wanted to tell your New Year's story. But
No, we should have, like, another episode on, like, tourist shit.
okay, I guess if you want, it's up to you. Yeah.
But anyway, that was one thing I wasn't expecting, was just the amount of police. But I guess Teddy was explaining to me that after the 9/11,
They take it seriously.
They take it serious. They don't slack. And there are so many people. So many people.
It's New York City. It's New York City on a major holiday.
So yeah, be prepared for that. You can't take umbrellas. You can't take backpacks. So I don't know how you're going to eat. You just eat at restaurants nearby, I suppose.
Yeah. It's not really something you should be doing if you don't have the budget for it.
Yeah. But other than that, it was okay.
But so you had a good New Year's?
Yeah. It was definitely an experience. Don't go when it rains.
And that's an experience that you'll have for the rest of your life. And that's part of why you guys went too, yeah?
Yeah.
And I did what I wanted to do, and I stayed home with my babies.
So yeah, that was my New Year's.
We hope you guys had a great New Year's. We would love to hear about it. We would love for you to tweet us. Don't forget, hashtag us Cocolesa. Let us know what you think of this show, your thoughts, views, and opinions. And we'll talk to you guys next week, right?
So yeah, we hope you guys have a good year.
It's off. We hope it's off to
Good,
a great start.
productive, plus ultra.
Plus ultra. So funny. And let's do this, family. Thank you for being with us. We'll talk to you guys next week.